Hello students, we have been dealing with matter in the 7th standard lesson, matter around us. We have seen that what is called as matter and what matter is made of, everything we saw. And now in this class we are going to see the classification of matter, how the matter is classified. Generally, it is classified into two types. One is called as pure substances, whereas the another one is called as impure substances. And the pure substances has two subdivisions. Those are elements and compounds, whereas the impure substances can also be called as mixtures. Okay, what students? Pure substances and impure substances. Pure substance is further classified into elements and compounds. Impure substance is otherwise called as mixture. It also has two subdivisions. One is homogeneous mixture and one more is heterogeneous mixture. So about this we will see in detail. Okay, so elements. Now we are going to see what are called as elements. Okay, okay, students, have you seen this keyboard? Okay, so when we try to learn music, the basic musical notes we have to learn. For example, in Carnatic music, I think sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da. So those are the musical notes. So those are the fundamentals for learning music. Likewise, the fundamental particles of matter, that is called as element. Okay, the building blocks of music are the musical notes sa, re, ga, ma, pa. Likewise, all the substances in our world. Okay, everything is made of a certain simple substances called elements. Okay, plants, cat, apples, rocks, cars, even our bodies and all those materials around us, everything is made by a particular species called element. Okay, so we can conclude that elements are the building blocks of materials. Till now we have 118 elements found by various chemists. The first element starting from hydrogen, helium, lithium and so on. How many elements we have? 118 elements we have till date. Okay, are you able to understand what is called as element? Elements are the building blocks of matter, or we can say elements are the fundamental particles of matter. Okay, now a scientist called Robert Boyle, so he has defined what is called as matter. He has said that a substance that cannot be broken down further. So cannot be broken down further means that is the ultimate particle. That is the fundamental particle. That is called as element. Okay. An example is also given. Aluminium. Aluminium you might have seen. The pressure cookers we use in our house or the cooking utensils we have been using in our house. That is made by aluminium atoms and it is made by aluminium element. Okay, okay, and there are so many elements we use in our common life. The examples I am going to tell you. The first one is common salt. Common salt we have been using for our cooking purpose. In our food it is added to enhance the taste. Okay, its chemical formula is NaCl and its chemical name is sodium chloride. That molecule is made by two elements called sodium and chlorine. Okay, students, and then water. Water is the essential thing we need for our survival. Its formula is H2O. It's made by two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, and magnesium and phosphorus are used for making crackers. Crackers, you know. Okay, so for making crackers, what elements are used? Magnesium and phosphorus elements are used for making crackers. And then sulfur is used as a manure in agriculture. In agricultural areas, what is used as a manure? Sulfur is used as a manure. And then gallium is used for making mobile phones and also silicon is used for making computer chips. So these are the uses of elements in our day-to-day life. What are they? Common salt, sodium chloride. It's made by two elements called sodium and chlorine. And then water, H2O, made by hydrogen element and oxygen element. And in pyrotechnics, which means in the cracker industries, what is used? Magnesium and phosphorus are used. Then sulfur is used as a manure in agriculture. Gallium is used in making mobile phones. And finally, silicon is used for making computer chips. Okay, students? So what are elements? Elements are the fundamental particles of matter. Okay, okay, there are 118 elements known till date. Out of these 118 elements, the first 94 elements are occurring naturally. From our earth crust we can obtain those elements, whereas the remaining 24 elements are synthesized only in the laboratory. So the first 94 elements can be called as natural elements, whereas the remaining 24 elements can be called as artificial elements, since they are prepared only in an artificial way. Okay, va? Okay, then we are going to see how this element is classified. Okay, so we have three types of elements. Elements can be categorized into three different types. So those types are metals, metalloids and non-metals. Okay, va? So how elements are classified? It's classified into three types. Those types are metals, non-metals and metalloids. Let us see one by one. Okay, va? Okay, first metals. Metals we have been seeing in a wide range of places in our life. Okay, well, students, the glass we use for drinking purpose, and the iron nails, and we may have gold ring or silver blanket and so on. Even the thing used for conducting electricity is a copper wire. So these are the simplest example for metals. Likewise, we have so many metals. Okay, well? So here a copper jar is given, then lead metal, nickel, steel, iron, zinc. Examples for metal is given here. Okay, now properties of metals we are going to see. The metals will possess the following properties. The first property is they will be very hard and shiny. Hard means they will be very strong. Shiny means their appearance will be very shining. But here some exception is there. Okay, we have seen that generally the metals are the harder substances, but sodium is a softest metal. It can be easily cut with a knife. That much soft it is. Okay, so except sodium and a few metals, the remaining will be hard and shiny. Then malleable. It's very essential property of a metal. Okay, we can say malleability and ductility. Okay, so if you have a particular metal, by hammering it with a hammer, you can make the shapes whatever you want. That ability of an atom is called as malleability. A material may be flattened into thin sheets or variable shapes. Okay, so that property of a particle is called as malleability, and metals possess the property of malleability. Okay, and their physical state. Mainly all the metals will be existing in the solid state. Here also there is an exception. That exceptional case is mercury. Mercury is a metal which exists in liquid state at room temperature. Except mercury, all the remaining metals will be in the solid state at room temperature. Is it clear? Okay, so how many properties we have seen? Three properties. The first one is hard and shiny. Hard means they will be very stronger substances, and malleability. Whatever shapes you need, you can convert into that shapes. And then physical state. All the metals except mercury will be in the solid state. Okay, and they are the good conductors of heat and electricity. They will allow the heat and electricity to pass through them. Okay, and the examples are given: copper, lead, tin, nickel, iron, zinc, gold and so on. These examples for metals. So four properties we have seen. What are they? They will be hard and shiny, they will be malleable and ductile, and then they will be in the solid state except mercury, and they are the good conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, and then now we are going to see the non-metals. Okay, so it just they possess the properties just opposite to that of metals. There we saw they will be hard and shiny, but here they will be dull and soft. But here also there is an exception. Diamond is a form of carbon. It's very hard. Okay, and also it is very shining. But generally non-metals won't possess the property of hardness. But what is the exception? Diamond is the exceptional case. Okay, okay. And their physical state, they can be either gases, solids or liquids. The examples are given. Oxygen, hydrogen, chlorine are gases at room temperature. They are non-metals. Then carbon, iodine, sulfur and phosphorus are solids at room temperature. Then bromine is the only non-metal that is liquid at room temperature. This can be asked in one word. Okay, so the only non-metal which is in liquid state is bromine. Okay, okay. And there in the case of metals we saw that they are the good conductors of electricity, but in non-metals these are the poor conductors of electricity, which means they won't allow the heat and electricity to pass through them. Okay, so they are the poor conductors of electricity. Okay, but here also there is an exception is there, graphite. Graphite is a good conductor of electricity even though it is a non-metal. And the examples given here, okay, phosphorus and sulfur, examples for non-metals. Is it clear, students? The what are non-metals? They possess the properties just opposite to that of metals. Okay, they will be dull and soft, and they can be either in solid, liquid or gaseous state, and they are the poor conductors of electricity. Okay, so with this non-metals over, then here the list of differences between metals and non-metals is given. First one, metals are shiny in nature. They have blistered appearance, whereas non-metals do not have that lustrous appearance. They will be dull and soft. Okay, and metals will be hard, but non-metals will be soft. That's the second difference. Then third difference, ductility. They can be bent into the shapes which we desire, but non-metals cannot be made into that desired shapes. Okay, or generally we can say metals possess malleability and ductility, whereas non-metals do not. Then metals are the good conductors of electricity, whereas non-metals are the poor conductors of electricity. And metals are the good conductors of heat, non-metals are the poor conductors of heat. Okay, and when the metals are struck by a stick, they produce certain sounds, whereas or we can say sonorous. Sonorous means making sound. Okay, but the non-metals are non-sonorous. They won't make sound when it is striken with a stick. Okay, so with this the differences between metals and non-metals over. What are the differences given? First one, metals have shiny appearance, whereas non-metals have no shiny appearance. Then metals are generally hard, whereas non-metals are soft. Then metals possess the properties of ductility and malleability, whereas non-metals do not possess such property. Then metals are the good conductors of electricity, whereas non-metals are the poor conductors of electricity. Then metals are good conductors of heat, whereas non-metals are poor conductors of heat. Then metals are sonorous, which means they can make sound when striken by a stick, whereas non-metals are non-sonorous. They won't make sound when it is striken by a stick. Okay, okay. Then metalloids. Metalloids means they'll possess the properties as that of metals as well as non-metals. They possess both the characteristics of metals and non-metals. The examples are silicon, arsenic, antimony and boron. The pictures also given. It's very simple. What are metalloids? They possess the properties of both metals as well as non-metals. Okay, students? Okay, go through this video and learn well. Thank you.